right? And then let's learn the place values for everything after that. So I'm just gonna go over because we're all mostly in 3rd or 4th grade. So I'll go up to 3 places. So let's do the first 3 places after. And I'm sure a lot of you know this because a lot of you kids are already at Wholesome Learning. We already at least the 4th graders. All the 4th graders know this already because we just went over it for the past 2 weeks. So we have the first place after the decimal point. We have the tenths, right? And keep, sorry, I keep having to change the thickness. The tenths, right? And keep in mind the last 3 letters, right? We have THS, right? And then we have the hundredths, right? Don't get this confused, kid, right? Don't get this confused with the tens, right? Don't say tens. This is wrong, right? That would belong over here, right? If we had the ones and the tens and so on, right? Don't say tens, right? Keep in mind. I know it's hard to say tenths, but keep practicing. So it's THS, and then we have the thousandth place, right? Afterward.
He's trying to do.
We have THS. We have the thousandth place afterward, right? So everyone write that down. Make sure you know the names, and that's all we're going to deal with. Just the first 3, okay? All right. So I gave you some time to do that. So we have that. Now, Now let's work on rounding the decimals here. So I'm going to give us an example. Let's say, Prithvi, could you unmute yourself real quick?
Yeah.
Can you give me a 3-digit number, please? Any 3-digit number.
357.
All right, cool. Thank you, buddy. You can mute yourself again.
Nice.
357. All right. Now, what if I asked us, so I'm going to give us like 3 different questions, right? I'm going to label it A, B, and C. So we have for A, we're going to round to the nearest 10th, right? We're going to round to the nearest 10th here. And then B, I'll give us a lot of space here. B, and let me just do this. Bear with me, guys. Let me just change this so we have more room. Not this. Page action. Never mind, it's fine. All right, B, round to the nearest 10th, round to the nearest 100th, right? And then C is going to be a little weird. 100th, and then C is going to be round to the nearest 1,000. And then we'll go through the steps there. But let's remember the steps from last week, right, kids? I know a lot of you are new. But let's go over it real quick. We have I'm going to write it up here, right over here, so if everyone can see that. Number 1, step 1, we're going to underline our place value. Sonny, you got that? Underline the place value.
What's up?
Who is that? You want to?
Yeah, 1 second.
Someone just joined in.
So, welcome for whoever has just joined in. We are currently going over the place value of decimals. So if you guys can please just keep yourselves on mute so that way there's no background noise and we can successfully continue with classes. After Mr. Shiv is done, he'll open up time for questions and he'll go over questions for 10 minutes with all of you. So keep yourselves on mute and we'll keep learning and growing together. Shiv, whenever you're ready.
All right.
I can't see it.
Yeah, just keep yourself on mute, all right? All right, step 1. Guys, come on. All right, step 1. We're going to underline the place value that we want to do, right? And then number 2 is going to be, we're going to box the number. I'm not going to say next door. So I know a lot of you kids did not like the way in which I said it. I said next door. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say box the number to the right, okay? How about that? To the right. And then the last step here is if the box number, if it is 5 or more, right, we go up, right? If it's 5 or more, we go up. If it's 4 or below, We don't say round down. Remember, we went over this last week. We keep it the same. All right, we keep it the same always. So yeah, those are the 3 steps, and let's go through that for letter A here. So we're going to round to the nearest 10th. Root phi give us 357. So I'm going to write 357 over here. The 10th plate to the I'm sorry, not 357, 0.357, right? And the way in which we say this is, I'm sorry, I didn't go over that. The way in which we say this is we say it as if it's a regular number, right? 357. We say that 357, and then we look at the last place that the last number is in. The 7 is in the thousandths place, so we're going to say 357 thousandths. That's how we would say this number. Okay, kids? So that's that. So that's just the number, but we said round to the nearest 10th. Step 1, let me go back. Step 1 says underline the place value. Okay, so 10th is here. We underline the 3. And then it said, no, step 2 is box the number to the right. Okay, I'm going to box the 5. Now, step 3 talks about the box number, right? If it's 5 or more, we go up, and it tells that to the 3, right? That's what we're dealing with here. If it's 5 or more, we go up. If it's 4 or below, we keep it the same. In this case, it's 5 or more, right? Because the number is 5. So the 3 becomes a 4, right? We're just rounding it up to 4. So now it follows the same exact rules, kids, as last week, as the whole numbers. We're going to keep the, and we're going to write 0 point if that makes you kids feel better, right? If you guys want to write something there, 0 point, right? And then the 3 is going to become a 4. And remember the last step, I was like going over the last step last, step 4, right? This is technically the last step, actually, sorry. All numbers to the right, all numbers to the right of the number, all numbers to the right of the place value that we rounded, right? Become zeros. Now, there's something interesting here. So we could make them into zeros here. We could turn the 5 and like we could turn the 2 numbers into zeros. That's great, right? We did that with whole numbers. If it was just the number 357 with no decimal place, right? And we rounded it to the nearest 100, and then we boxed the 5, and then we did the same steps, right? And this would be 4, and then this would be 400, right? So we applied the same thing into the decimal part here, right? But remember, kids, for those of you that know a lot about decimals or that have learned about decimals, this is 400 thousandths, right? Everyone knows that 400 thousandths is the same as 40 hundredths, which is the same as 4 tenths, right? You can take away as many zeros as long as it's to the right, right? As long as it's to the right. Hey, Arya, thank you for joining, buddy. Hope you're doing well.
We got Mr. P in the house. We got a couple new kids that are in here. Bunya's here. Cushy's here. For anybody that's not on mute, so Cushy, Bhavni, if you guys are not on mute, go ahead and keep yourselves on mute, okay? We got Sanvi. We got another Sanvi here. Welcome. We have another Sanvi as well.
Nice.
Bhavni, if you can put yourself on mute, that'd be very helpful.
Hi, Bhavni.
What's up? All right, thank you, Bhavni. Awesome. All right, keep it up, everybody. Rowan, we can see you too, buddy, okay? Just keep in mind.
All right, yeah, so as I was saying, right, we could take away as many zeros as we want, so as long as it's to the right, and we can add zeros if we want to, right? We can keep going. It doesn't mean anything. As long as all the zeros are to the right, okay? That's that.
Arya, keep yourself on mute, buddy.
That's that. Okay, so we have that. What about letter B here? Round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so let's rewrite that. 357,000. Oh, sorry. 357 thousandths, right? 0.357 or 0.357. Well, this time it says to the hundredth, right? Round to the nearest hundredth. Underline the 5. That's step 1. Sorry, I keep going zoomed in and everything. These are the steps right here, kids. Sorry. Right here. We're going to underline the 5, and then we're going to box the 7, right? We box a 7. Sorry, that's a 7, by the way. The 7 is 5 and up. So that means we round up, right? The 5 becomes a 6. But remember, I also didn't go over this either, but we went over it last week. Any number before, right? Any number before what we rounded stays the same as well, right? We didn't deal with the 3, right? Don't change the 3 or anything, right? If it's before the 5, or if it's to the left of the 5, you got to keep it there, right? We didn't touch the 3. Well, the 5 becomes a 6 because that rounds up. The 7 tells us to round up, and we know the last step tells us that the 7 becomes a 0. And technically, we don't have to write the 0 there because we know 0.360 is the same as 0.36, right? That's the only difference, right? If you kids are paying attention from last week, that's the only difference in decimals, right? Those zeros at the very end, they don't necessarily matter in this case. You could write them, you could not write them. They both mean the same thing. But if you want to keep writing them because it helps you so that you don't have to change anything from when you deal with rounding whole numbers as opposed to rounding decimals, then keep it that way, right? We don't want to change anything. We don't want to confuse ourselves. So if you like writing the zeros, I like writing the smiley faces. So it helps me sometimes. I know I'm a little kid just like you. Letter C. Round to the nearest 1,000. Okay. Now this one is kind of funny. I'm going to rewrite it. Now the
Wait,
1,000.
I didn't see the first one.
Oh yeah, here you go, buddy. You see it now?
Yeah.
All right. Mute yourself. Okay. Remember, 7 is the 1,000th place, right? 7 is the 1,000th place. And remember, we have to box the number to the right. So that means this. Oh, wait, no number here. There is nothing there. And what is the only number? What is the only number that represents nothing?
0.
0, right? Thank you.
Mikhail.
Good job. 0, right? And if you're boxing a 0, right, that's technically 4 and below, right? 4 and below. 4 and below would be 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? So 0 is among those. So 4 and below tells us to keep the 7 the same, right? This 0 is going to tell us keep it the same, right? There's nothing to do. So that means we're going to rewrite the 3 and the 5 because we didn't deal with that, right? Because that's to the left. We don't have to deal with that. But then when we deal with the 7, like I said, you keep it the same. And then you don't have to rewrite the 0 if you don't want to, because technically it means nothing, right? So letter C is kind of like a trick question. You kind of just keep it the same, right? All right.
Yeah.
So everyone good with that? I'm going to leave it. Should I open up to questions right now, Sonny?
Yeah, go ahead.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
We have 10 more minutes, 10, 15 more minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, kids, I think I'm going to open it up to questions right now. I kind of went over that really fast, and a lot of you joined late. So and feel free to ask. We have time. So ask questions now. You could unmute yourselves. You could raise your
Let's do
hand.
it like this. Let's everybody keep yourselves on mute. If you guys have a question, raise your hand, and then we'll call on you, and then unmute yourself to ask your question, okay? So for whoever has questions, go ahead, raise your hands, and we'll start calling on you guys, okay?
All right, Vedant, you had your hand up first.
Can't see your face or something.
Okay, so Vedant and then Leia.
My question is that like when you like round, like isn't there like the once or something?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Like is there supposed to be a once or something?
No once. There's no place value that's known as the once. It starts with tenths. Good question. Thank you for asking that. It starts off with tenths. You're right. This one is ones, right? And then this one's tens and so on, right?
Yeah.
There's no place value after the decimal point that's known as the ones. I like that question. That's a good question. No, there's no ones. It starts off with tens. Leia, you're next. Vedant, mute yourself. All right, Leia.
I do not know decimals.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why we went over it today. This is just a brief introduction to the place value of decimals today. So no one, like I was expecting none of you to know decimals today, right? So I would write down these names, the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. I would write that down, right?
Shiv, do you think that you can save this bonus math worksheet and then I can upload it to the kids' Google Classroom later?
Yeah.
And that way the kids have that and they can go over it later.
We could, because the work is pretty well, we
Organized.
could keep it just like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we could just send it like that.
Yeah, sounds good. Shlook.
Yeah, Shlook, what's up, buddy?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
So why can't I see myself and everyone?
Oh, because Mr. Shiv is sharing his screen.
Yeah, you see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, as long as you see the screen.
Thanks, Shlook. You can go
You
ahead
have
and
another question?
I have a question.
All right, Mikhail, what do you got?
So since numbers are also like after the like in the tens and the ones place of if like a number if it's one, isn't it also in the tens place it's 0?
So, give me an so I'm going to zoom in here. I want you to give me an example of what you're talking about.
So,
So,
like,
give me an
if-
example right here. What do we got?
So if the ones place is like 1,
So, right here?
yeah, and so
Okay.
does that mean the tenth place is a 0?
Yeah, so yeah. That's exactly. So thank you for carrying on that pattern, right, kids? So like I said before, if we had something in the decimal point and I said it's 0.5, right? That's the same thing as 0.50, and that's the same thing as 0.500, and so on, right? And that same thing applies. Let's say if I have one cookie, right, Mikhail,
Yeah.
I have 1.0 cookies. Same thing. Which is the same as what, Mikhail?
0, 1.0.
Like you do 1.00 cookies. It's all this. You could add as many zeros as you want. It all means the same. Is that what you're asking?
Oh no. So does if so can you put zeros before it too?
Yeah. So like a lot of times you'll have. So well, this is probably what we're gonna go over next week because we don't have enough time today. But a lot of times you're gonna have something like this. And we're going to go step by step because I don't want to go into this too fast because we also have to have knowledge about fractions. And we're going to go over fractions next week too. But let's say if we had this. Is that what you mean?
No. It's like
All right, give me one number then. Give me one number.
3, I guess.
No, like give me the entire problem that you're talking about. Give me the entire number.
So if the number's like 13, then does that mean it's the same thing as 0 and 0 and then 1 and then a 3?
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you don't really have to put those there either. Yeah, that's kind of weird, right?
So if it's if they ask you to round to a place but there's no place digit for it, is it just gonna be the same because it's it equals a 0?
Yeah, watch this. Okay, watch. Okay. Let me run with your scenario here. Let's say we had the number 26, right? And I'm going to add 3 zeros. Everyone see this? To the left, right? Everyone hear me? Or Mikhail, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, there's nothing here, there's nothing here, and there's nothing here, right? Now, let's say I asked you, let's say you had only 26, and I asked you to round to the nearest, let's say, thousandth, or thousand, sorry, thousand. And where is the thousand? Which zero is that, Mikhail?
The The one in the second one.
So the middle one, right? This
Yeah.
one. This is
Yeah.
the one here is the hundreds. Then this one is the that's the 1,000, right? I mean the 10,000.
Yeah.
So this one is the 1,000. Now remember, let's follow the rules, right? We underline the place value. You box this, right? Right? And then the zero tells this zero to do what, Mikhail?
To stay the same.
To stay the same, right? We're going to stay the same. Now we're going to apply all the rules that I told you to apply. This zero we're going to keep, right? This zero we're going to keep. And then everything after that becomes what, Mikhail?
A 0.
Everything after it becomes 0. Now, I asked you. Now, everyone is probably looking at this and going, wait, everything just became 0. That doesn't make any sense, right? But what did I ask you to round to? The 1,000, right? Now, is the number 26 anywhere near close to 1,000? Right? Is it, Mikhail?
No.
It's nowhere near close to 1,000, right? So the nearest 1,000, if I'm looking at a number line, the nearest 1,000 from 0 to 1,000, everyone can see on the number line that 26 would be all the way, even less so over here, right? If we're trying to map it, what is it closest to? Is it closest to 1,000 or is it closest to 0? What's it closest to?
0.
0, right? So then that's why it rounds to what?
0.
That's why it rounds to 0, because that's the closest thing. I know that was confusing, but does that answer your question, Mikhail?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions?
Yep, we have Puruhutika that has a question.
All right, Purutika, what do you got?
Come on, Nukola.
What do we use decimals for?
What do we use decimals for? Okay, ready? All right, everyone, I want to see you. I want to see everyone's face right now. Okay, whoever joined in.
What's up,
All right.
Rajneesh and Deepti? Rajneesh? Nice.
What's up, kids? All right, raise your hand if you like cookies. Everyone likes cookies, right? Now, for those of you that have siblings, you often have that time. I'm sorry, 1 second. You often have that time. Here we go. There's often that time where, let's say, you see that Chips Ahoy box, right? You see that Chips Ahoy box. I know this is bad, but sometimes it's red. Remember those chewy ones? Those are pretty good, right? And you peel it open, and you see that your little brother or your little sister ate all of the cookies except there was one whole cookie left. There's one second. There's one whole cookie left, right? And then your little sister or little brother was so hungry, but what happened was their stomach got so full they could only eat half of the last one. Right? So all that was left in there was this. One whole cookie, right? And one little half, right? So we have 1 and 1/2 cookies left. Did everyone see that? We have 1 and 1/2 cookies left. Now, I'm not going to go over this right now because we're going to do that next week, but 1/2 in terms of a decimal, 1/2 is equal to 0.5. And we also have 1. So if we're doing 1 plus 0.5, right, because that's 1/2, that's what? 1.5. I know you don't understand how to do the math with that yet, but that's what decimals are used for, Puruhitika. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that somewhat answer your question?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're gonna do that next week.
Yes.
All right, so the next person that has a question, I've written you guys down. Arush, you also have a question. What's your question, buddy?
So after in the decimals, there's tens, hundreds, and thousands. Is
Mhm.
there more after than that?
Oh yeah, keep going. It doesn't stop. You want me to name some?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me do this up here. I'm running out of room. Let me just go to the next page. You have another page? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just do that for now. So we have after the decimal place, right? You guys see this? All right. Who asked that again? Arush, right? All right. Name these. Let's see if you remember. Name the first three.
The first one is tens, then hundreds, then thousands.
Mm-hmm. Then what?
10,000s,
Good.
then hundred.
Then what?
Then 100,000.
Boom. You guys see how it's somewhat of the same pattern when it's the whole numbers too? 100,000s. Then what?
Millions.
Millionths. Then what?
10 millions.
10 millionths.
Then
Right? And then I'm not going to write the rest, but what's after that?
100 billions.
And then after that?
Billions.
And so on, right? Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yep. Go ahead, buddy. You're next.
Who was that? Who?
Wait, why does the place value like never stop?
Oh, because numbers never stop. Numbers are, okay, I have to go, wow, that's such a good question. But do I have enough time to go over that?
Go over it. How long is it gonna take you?
Not that long. Everyone, I'm gonna blow your minds, and then you're gonna go home, or you're already home. You're just gonna go to bed, mind blown, and then you're gonna come back next week, and you're gonna hate me because you've been thinking about it all week. Anyway, think of everyone's seen a ruler, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's seen a
so.
ruler.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's just say this is part of the ruler, right? I'm not, actually, wait, I could do this. This is, let's say this is inch from 0. This is 1 inch. This is, how about this? From 1 inch, right, to 2 inches, right?
Oh, whoa.
You guys need to understand, look, that there are an infinite amount of numbers between these two. If I asked you the question, how many numbers are there between 1 and 2? What would your answers be?
Infinite.
Infinite. Because look, no matter how close you get to 2, you can keep dividing and dividing and dividing and get a little bit closer, but not quite there yet. Watch, I'll prove it to you. So, who asked this question again? Who asked this again?
Me.
What's your name? What's your name?
Ishan said.
Yes, Ishan. Yes.
Ishan. Okay, look, Ishan. 1.9, right?
Mm-hmm.
You agree is one of the closest numbers to 2, yes?
Yes.
What about 1.99?
That's also close.
What about 1.999999?
Also close.
What about 1.99999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999999
seem to be lighting so much nines.
You can always keep adding one more 9. That's just the way math works. That's just the way you could. It's actually how the world works. You can keep, like, obviously we can't because we're humans, and like we can't obviously keep, like, our eyes can only see so much, right? But if we had like a super camera, we can keep like we can keep looking. We can look from inch 1 to inch 2, and we can keep zooming in. We can keep zooming in until, obviously my computer can only go this far, until we get until we still aren't at 2 yet. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
There are an infinite amount of numbers between 1 and 2. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
All right, sounds good. So we have So we've reached the end of our class. Thank you for everybody for coming. If you guys can please go ahead and go get your parents. Mr. Shiv is going to be talking to your parents real quick. So go ahead. Go
Yeah,
get your
everybody,
parents.
your parents.
It's funny.
Yeah.
My dad's working and my mom just left to pay like late hall or something.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it, Thomas. It's all right. Shiv, you good?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just
Good.
Wait for all the parents to come.
It's gone. Tell me. It's gone. That has. Oh, I need that gone.
Shiv, stop sharing your screen.
Question, Sunny.
Yeah.
How about if your parents are busy?
That's okay if your parents are busy. Just whichever parents are here.
Pancakes or something? You do that and rename.
Oh, my goodness.
Alright.
Do you hear me? I think I'm cutting.
No, you're good.
Sonny.
You're good. You're good.
Behind that in space.
Yeah. Alright, should we wait still?
I think everyone is basically here.
Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
Shanti, how are you?
Shanti, how are you?
Good, good.
Good. Alright, Shiv, whenever you're ready.
Kaka, Kemcho Gopa, Kaka, how are you? That's my uncle. All right. So is that all the parents?
Yep, that's all the parents.
All right, so I just want to thank everyone, all the parents, for joining our Facebook Live class. So I really, this is our third one, Sonny?
Yep, this is our third one. So we did one math one last Thursday. We did an English one on Tuesday, which a lot of you joined for. And this is our third math one.
Yeah. So I'm really enjoying this. So I know it's only 30 minutes, but I think we're getting a lot of content in within these 30 minutes, and the kids are learning a lot. A lot of them are asking a really good questions. And I'm glad it shows us that they're actually paying attention and that this free class means something. And I want to do it. So make sure you guys tune in at the same time next Thursday, right? So 2:30. We're gonna go over.
Shiv, one second. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If anybody's not on mute, can you guys go ahead and mute yourselves real quick? Arya, could you please mute yourself? You're getting a lot of background noise from your thing. Yep. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Thank you. What was I saying?
Next Tuesday.
Yes, next Tuesday, 2:30, we're gonna go over converting decimals to fractions and fully understanding what these decimals mean. What we did today was just label them and understand them and round them, but that's only the first step. So we have to keep moving forward. So thank you for coming today, but please come next week too.
Yeah, so come next Thursday for the math class, and everybody that came today, please come next Tuesday. We're going to be doing a bonus English class. So we did one this past Tuesday. So, and the second thing is that I've posted a full schedule of all of our events, the free live sessions that we're doing in the Wholesome Family Facebook group page. It's right at the top of the page as soon as you go to that Wholesome Family group. So that way you know when the classes are, and I'll continue sending out the text messages and also the Facebook updates, so that way you guys stay in the know of what's going on. And then also, if you guys can please invite your friends and family to the Wholesome Family Facebook group page, so that way we can help more kids at home and help them continue to grow. Because we really want to make sure that even though whatever's going on out there, your kids still remain growing, even if they're a part of Wholesome Learning or if they're not. So, yep, that's it. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions or anything? Good?
All right.
All right, sounds good. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week, Sonny.
Bye. See you guys later. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye.
Bye, Fundia.